Today we are going to discuss about the important questions and answers of chapter 20, locomotion and movement. Here is the first question. Write a short note on rigor mortis. Actually, what is the meaning of rigor mortis? Till now this word doesn't came in the chapter or in the explanation. But still it is related with the chapter and the content is muscles. So what happened? Rigor mortis is usually a state in which the muscles they become stiff, and muscles become stiff. This stiffening of muscle, it occurs only during the death, when the human being or the animal die. After that, what will happen? When it is left for some time, the body becomes stiff, and this stiffening of the animal body is just because ATP is not provided to the muscles, because the cells are dead and there is no transfer of ATP. When ATP is not produced, then muscles, actin and myosin, they are not able to move from each other. That means the cross bridge does not break. And this stiffening of the body is called as rigor mortis, and it lasts till the body starts decomposing. So just have a look over here on the board. It is the state of body stiffening after death due to non-separation of actin and myosin filament. Actin and myosin filaments are not separated, and due to that only the body becomes stiff, caused by non-availability of ATP, because dead cells does not produce energy or they don't have the ATP molecules. It appears first in the small muscles of face. That means the muscles which are continuously used. So this condition appear first in those muscles which are continuously in use before the death. So here it appears first in small muscles of face like jaw, and in those muscles which were most actively used before death, because the person is used to continuously speak. Okay, so this jaw bone is continuously, or this jaw muscles are continuously in motion. So first of all, this condition, this stiffening is shown in the jaw muscles only. It persists till decomposition of the body begins, and it lasts till the decomposition starts. So this is the first question and the answer. Just have a look once again. It is the state of body stiffening after death due to non-separation of actin and myosin filaments caused by non-availability of ATP. It appears first in the small muscles of face like jaw, and in those muscles which were most actively used before death. It persists till decomposition of body begins. Now here we are going with the second question. Now students, here we are with the second question. You just have a look over here. Differentiate between red and white muscle fibers. So just have a look over here. Red muscle fibers, white muscle fibers. So red muscle fibers are dark red muscles. That means their color is dark red due to the presence of abundant myoglobin. Myoglobin is the protein present in the muscle. So due to the presence of maximum myoglobin is present in red muscle fibers, and because of its presence, these muscle fibers appears to be red in color. Then white muscle fibers, they are pale yellow or whitish in color as they have less myoglobin, because myoglobin concentration is very less, so their color appears to be whitish. Second difference is mitochondria number is more. So these red muscle fibers, they have maximum number of mitochondria and less number of sarcoplasmic reticulums. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is what? The endoplasmic reticulum present in the muscle. So endoplasmic reticulum or sarcoplasmic reticulum number is less in the red muscle fibers. When we talk about the white muscle fibers, number of mitochondria is less. And they have more number of sarcoplasmic reticulum. Then the third point is, it depends on the aerobic process for energy. Here Energy is obtained by aerobic process, that means oxygen is utilized, and over here oxygen is not utilized, so it is anaerobic process. Now what is the reason behind aerobic and anaerobic? Because here number of mitochondria are more, energy production occurs. So here for mitochondria oxygen is required. Oxygen is required for the breakdown of the component and energy is released. ATP is released and ATP production is done by mitochondria. But when we talk about the white muscles over here, we say that the number of mitochondria is less. So here what we say that it depends on the anaerobic process. Now next is they have slow rate of contraction for long period. That means they contract slowly but for a longer time. And white muscle fibers, though their energy level is very less, so they contract fast and for a very short period. Just have a look. Have fast rate of contraction for short period. Now here we look at the example, the extensor muscle of human back. On a back side, the back, it contains the muscle and the muscle name is extensor muscle. So extensor muscles are especially the red muscle fibers, and the eyeball muscles we have, these muscles are white muscle fibers. So just have a look over here with the differences. Now students, look over here to the next question, question number 3. What is the role of calcium in muscle contraction? Already I told you about the role of calcium. When action potential is received by the sarcolemma or the plasma membrane of the muscle, then that action potential or the impulse, it is transferred to the sarcoplasmic reticulum or the endoplasmic reticulum of the muscle, and calcium ions are released. These calcium ions, they bind with the troponin on the actin and remove the troponin. As a result, a site is exposed where myosin globular head can attach. So that is the role of calcium ions. So just look over here, the answer. Calcium plays a key regulatory role in muscle contraction. The increase in calcium ion level leads to their binding to troponin, which masks the action binding sites, thus exposing F-actin, leading to the formation of cross bridges. Okay, so this is the answer. Now next question, question number 4. What happens to the muscles when strenuously exercised? Means when excessive exercise is done, then what happens to the muscles? The first thing is that in your 10th standard you have studied that when excessive exercise is done, then the supply of oxygen is not fulfilled and lactic acid is formed. Okay, so but here we don't have to give the answer in the formation of lactic acid or deposition of lactic acid. Usually what will happen when we do or when we perform strenuous exercises, during that time the metabolic activities of the muscles increases. As a result, the muscles will take more and more oxygen and more ATP is utilized. So to get more and more oxygen, what is there? The muscle activity increases. So now just look over here, and when muscle activities increases, then the oxygen supply is more. So the blood supply comes more. Now have a look over here the answer. By strenuous exercise, that means excessive exercise, metabolic activities of muscles increases, which leads to the increased consumption of oxygen and ATP. Means more and more oxygen is consumed so that the reserve food can be broken down and energy is released in the form of ATP. To meet this demand of oxygen and ATP. Okay, so to meet this demand, blood supply of muscles increases. That means the concentration or the supply of blood to the muscles increases. So this is the answer to the question, what happens to the muscles when strenuously exercised. Now we come to the next question. So your students, now here we are having with the next question, question number 5. How does a muscle return to its original form during relaxation? What causes muscle fatigue? Actually, you know that when muscles contract, then what will happen? For muscles contraction, calcium ions are released. They attach with the troponin, and the binding site for the actin filament at the globular head, it is revealed. Okay, so but what will happen when contraction? So during contraction, what will happen? The calcium ions, they separate from the troponin and they came back to the sarcoplasmic tubule. Then again the binding site is covered by troponin. The contraction, after contraction, the relaxation occurs. Okay. So now next is what causes muscle fatigue. Means when continuously we are using the muscles, then the requirement of oxygen and energy is increased, but due to the breathing activity, that requirement is not fulfilled. Means all the muscles are not properly supplied with oxygen and ATP. So during that time, what will happen? Glycogen is a reserve food of animals. So glycogen is broken down into lactic acid, and this lactic acid get deposited in the muscles, causing the muscle cramps, and this state is called as fatigue. Muscle fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness. The muscles get tired because of the formation of lactic acid in the absence or non-availability of oxygen and ATP. So now just have a look over here at the answer. After contraction of muscles, calcium ions are quickly pumped back to the sarcoplasmic tubules, which leads to the blocking of active sites on actin. The Z line returns to the original position because during contraction Z line comes closer and the length of the sarcomere decreases. So what happens? The Z line returns to the original position. That means Z line relaxes and it moves back, causing muscles to relax. Then the next part is what causes muscle fatigue. So the answer to that is repeated activation of muscles lead to accumulation of lactic acid due to anaerobic breakdown of glycogen. Because here anaerobic breakdown occurs. Why the term anaerobic is used? Because here the oxygen supply is very less. Okay, so that's why we have written anaerobic. Anaerobic breakdown of glycogen in there, which causes fatigue. So now just check it over here. Have a look. So now students, here we are having with the 6th question. Why a red muscle fiber can work for a prolonged period while white muscle fiber suffers from fatigue after a short work. That means red muscle fibers can work for a longer time and short muscle fiber get exhausted within a short time period or after short work. So what is the reason behind it? The main reason that is, just now we discussed about the differences between the red muscle fibers and the white muscle fibers. In that you came to know that red muscle fibers, they have more number of mitochondria and white muscle fibers have very less number of mitochondria. So this difference is based on the number of mitochondria only. If the number of mitochondria is more, then ATP production is more energy is produced, and when more energy is there, the organism or the muscle will work for a longer time. And when we say the mitochondria number is less, then less number of mitochondria results in less energy production, and hence the muscle will get tired early or within a short time after doing a very short work. So just have a look over here at the answer. Red muscle fibers have large number of mitochondria for production of ATP, therefore can work for longer period of time, whereas white muscle fibers have very less mitochondria, so less ATP, hence fatigue after a short work. Hope you understood the answer. Now students, have a look at this question number 7. Movement and locomotion involve the coordinated activities of muscular, skeletal and neural system. Explain the interaction among these three systems to bring about the movement. Means how the movement occurs in the body by the involvement or coordinated activities of skeletal, muscular and neural system. Okay, how the nervous system, skeletal system and muscular system act or perform their activities for the locomotion of the organism or the movement of the organism body. So you all know that neural system, it receives the impulses. Then the impulses are transferred to the neuromuscular junction where the nerve endings are connected with the muscle. Now muscles receives the message and then the contraction in the muscle occurs, which create a force which helps in the movement of the bones. And when bones move, we say the body part is moving or the body is moving. So now just have a look over here at the answer. Neural system brings impulses to the neuromuscular junction, that is the nerve ending and the muscle where they are connected. At that point, the muscle impulse is transferred. The muscles contract and exert a force to move bones. So what happens when at neuromuscular junction, when the impulse is received, muscle receives the impulse. Now muscle starts contracting and muscles are attached with tendons. Okay, so then what will happen? Then their contraction occurs in the muscles, resulting in the movement of bones. And the movement of bones along with the muscles brings about movement. So here is the answer.